If you weren't excited about Milwaukee's new 2.5 gallon PACKOUT vacuum, you should have been. Milwaukee absolutely nailed it here. But there are some things that you might want to purchase with this vacuum if you're going to use it for specific uses. We're going to go through this vacuum top to bottom, but first I'm going to show you what you might want to buy with this vacuum as an accessory when you first pick it up. Stay tuned. We're going to work our way from the top down because the inside is where I think you're going to want to pick up some extra accessories. First, this PACKOUT box is just ingenious. I absolutely love the PACKOUT system. This is perfect because you can carry your tools underneath it for a small job. You can do anything you need, and you have everything in this vacuum pretty much self-contained. You have the hose that goes along the outside. This is a very flexible hose. It comes back together nice. There are two different ends that you can put on this hose, and you pretty much have to decide right off the bat because this second end that's meant to go into different tools, it has different sizes that will fit into most different brand tools, and you either have this guy that's going to go on or this normal filter end. These just unscrew and you screw the new one on. It's not that big of a deal. Just pick one, set the other one aside. This hose will come off and you can put it on the outlet so you can suck or blow with this vacuum as you would expect. On the inside, we have our battery compartment. We'll check what size batteries fit in there. We have a fine crevice tool and a floor tool. We're going to use both of those a little bit later. As we get into what you might want, I'm going to actually pull you guys in because the inside of this is really what's interesting. The filter that comes with the vacuum is a washable HEPA filter. That is a big deal, and it's nice to have something that you can continually clean. Now, being that this is a wet and dry vac, there is a stop here that is going to stop the water from getting too high and getting sucked through the vacuum. This area, when you're running it wet, is recommended that you have a foam filter over the top. You don't get that with the vacuum. That's an extra piece, and I'll put the part number in the description. So if you're going to be picking up wet articles, you might want to pick up that foam filter. Now, on top of that, if you're going to be picking up fine dust particles, they make a fleece dust bag that sits right here, comes through the opening, and all the fine dust would collect in this fleece dust bag, and then keep your HEPA filter from getting clogged from very fine particles. I think those two items you might want to pick up and have, because when you get this vacuum, you're really going to want to put it to use. It is nice, quiet, and powerful, but it was a little bit disappointing to get this vacuum and say, okay, I want to have some accessories before I go out and use it. Fit and finish is as you would expect with any Milwaukee product. If you do want to nitpick this apart, there are a few small items that you could. There are plastic hinges on the bottom that hold the bottom tank in. Those are fairly light duty for being smashed around on the job site, but I'm sure that they'll last. The upper hinges have a very small latch. That's basically by design of how that they are. You'll get used to it. In the beginning, they feel a little small. The handle on top is great. It feels robust enough to carry a lot underneath this if you wanted to. It will cover the hinges on this side, so if you're looking for them, you just have to lift the handle back over as you would expect. Not a big deal at all. The switch on the side is perfect. You have two levels here. Now, I want to show you how loud this vacuum is. So what I'm going to do is turn it on high first, and I'm going to continue to talk, and that's going to give you an idea of what my level of volume is compared to this. Hopefully it gives you a good idea of how loud this unit is. So as it turns on, it kind of kicks up and then goes back down. I'm assuming you heard me there. As it turns on, the unit kicks up and goes back down. Even when we turn it on low, it's going to do that same thing. It's going to go higher and then drop down to low. So here's low as it kicks up to high and then comes down to a really nice low level. That is the big thing on this. You have 50 CFM of suction on this, which is great, but you don't have the noise. Milwaukee rates it at 86 or 87 decibels. You can work right next to it, use it, no issue. It's not loud, and while 86 or 87 decibels sounds loud to me for how this is, it really is enjoyable to use, because what we found is the smaller the vacuum usually, the louder the noise that you get from it. And this is definitely one of the more quiet vacuums that we've seen out there. Using it inside a small job is perfect. It has all the power to pick up anything that you might need to. I mean, obviously, if you have some really large nails or anything like that, it might not pick it up. Or if you have larger pieces than the 1.25 inch hose, you're gonna struggle with that stuff, but that's to be expected with any vacuum this size. Really enjoy the fact that I can take this, not be deaf by the end of using it, and just dig in, get something done, and have a package system here that I can carry in a small amount of tools to do a job and then move on. And I can pick up a different package to do a different job, or a different PACKOUT box to do a different job. It all seems to fit and work together, and I think that's why so many people are excited about this PACKOUT vacuum. Let's do some testing on Runtime. For the sake of testing, we are going to put some duct tape over half of the inlet. So this here will limit a little bit amount of the air that's coming in, to put a little bit more stress on the motor, to give you an idea of the runtime if you're using it. I've been using this with the 5 amp hour battery. We're gonna drop down to a CP 3.0, but we do have a 12 amp hour that fits in here just fine. So no matter what battery you have, it will work. We're gonna kick that CP 3.0 in there. We're gonna start this up and hit start on the timer. All right, 12 minutes, 51 seconds. So that gives us a little bit more than 4 minutes per amp hour. So you can do the math on the battery that you have in there. A 5 amp hour battery is going to get you about 20 minutes of runtime. That's pretty sweet. So here, let's take the 12 amp hour battery, just because we can, pop it in. Let's take the HEPA filter off. This is where we would use the foam filter in this case, because we're going to do a water test. I have this bucket we used for some of our testing of pressure washers. We have about 1.8 gallons in here. It's close. It's going to be what it's going to be. You guys can do the timing on your screen on YouTube. We're gonna suck this up and see if it'll get it all, and then you can see how quick it does it. Very cool. We didn't see water flying out this side, which is great. Sometimes we see that on different vacuums, so it means the ball that's in the inside worked. This bucket has, I mean, next to nothing left in it, which is again perfect, and it did it very quickly. So if we take this apart again, obviously it's gonna be wet, but it looks good. We have some of the items in here that came up before, and this little end works perfect to help you pour everything out and to make a mess. So that worked great. Everything in here, I love it. I love when these things actually work well, and it's quiet, it's got great suction. Everything here to me stacks up to be one of Milwaukee's best vacuums that they've made. On top of that, I'd venture to put this up against some of the other vacuums that we said are the best ones out there. Now, the one that we have a video on is the best battery vacuum out there. Has pretty much the same runtime. The only difference is that it's more round. So when you go to put everything back together, it fits together a little bit easier. That's the only difference, I would say, probably between this one and that other video. So if you're out looking for a vacuum, this is definitely one to take a look at. If you're in the Milwaukee battery line, this is a no-brainer. You're gonna love this vacuum top to bottom. It's gonna do everything you want, from job site work to homework to work in the cars to anything. It's sweet. I'll put my reputation on that one, guys. If you haven't already, give me a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. As always, we appreciate your time. Have a great day.